Coming from Nigeria, way
Yep.
of Connecticut to Nashville, performing Friday night at Night Vision 2025, we have the one and only Blessing Offor. Did I say that
What's up,
right?
friends? Well, you can say oh
Offer?
for it's offer, but
Offer, offer,
we accept all kind of similar name pronunciations.
offer, offer. Got it?
Yep, that's
All
it.
right, all right. I'm not even going to edit that. I'm going to embarrass myself. So we just released, like I had something to do with it.
Brother, you had a lot to do with it.
I
Don't.
was I was the inspiration for the new single.
It was for you.
Right. It was hey, I honestly when I listened to it, I felt like it was just for me. Like I felt like you wrote
Good.
it for me. But lift me up. So real quickly, or as long as you want, because this is your time, Blessing.
Shucks.
Tell us about the new single, Lift Me Up.
Um, I've not been passionate about a song like this in a very long time. I love this song. I love, and I mean, I say this as the guy that wrote it with a couple of my friends. Like a song like this is first and foremost, I needed to hear it. You know what I mean? It was a lot of honesty. It's been a really hard 2.5 years post record number one coming out, and I really wanted to make sure record number two was as honest and as heartfelt and as like free of any like nonsense as possible. So Lift Me Up is our first attempt at like changing the tone because I think we all just spend so much time hiding and not saying what we need. And for a long time, I got through a lot of this season with friends. Um, and this was like the most honest song I could have ever written. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it sounds awesome.
It is. I
So,
listened to it because it just released a couple of
yeah,
days before
yeah,
this. I
yeah,
listened to
yeah.
it before we got on. And I first discovered you in Nashville, Way FM. We're in Colorado.
Oh,
Way
yeah.
FM was playing Brighter Days. And I thought that was an absolute just jam of a song. I thought it was a
Thank
beautiful
you,
song.
bro.
And then to follow up with that, you came out with Tobymac.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
did the
yeah, yeah.
goodness, which
Uh-huh.
was a massive hit as well. And I feel like I don't know, maybe you're just getting better with age. Like every time you
Man.
put a song out, it just keeps getting better and better.
And you know the A, thank you. B, my favorite part of putting out music is I always say to myself, can my friends who have never been to church hear this and hear themselves in it? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so that's, if you don't know anything about me, just know I grew up in Connecticut. I lived in New York. I did not grow up in like super churched places. So
Right.
my music is meant for, of course, believers, because, you know, he who has ears, you know
Right.
what I mean? But it's also meant for my friends who I would do life with in Brooklyn
Right.
and in Nashville or, you know, New York, any LA. I lived in LA for 6 months. Like the world needs this, if that makes any sense. And so if I can keep it a low barrier to entry so that they can hear the good things they need to hear, then so be it. You know what I mean? So I always
Absolutely.
shoot for that when I make music. So it is not an accident. And I just want you guys to come along on that journey because I think it's really beautiful.
Now on the Lift Me Up single, you released three
Mhm.
songs. You had All Over the World and Jordan's.
Uh-huh.
What what's Jordan's about? Because
Jordan. Oh, I love that song. Um, little behind the scenes, Jordan's actually wrote initially because I thought Maverick City was going to cut it.
okay.
So I wrote it for this big choir, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you can kind of hear that in it. Um, I love that because it's kind of a lot of Old Testament imagery. And I love the title Jordans because everybody goes, "Is this about the shoes?"
Well, that's yeah. The
You
first time I
know?
heard it, that's what I thought too.
And you know, it kind of is. It's like you're walking on Jordans. So I just like to have fun when I write songs. And if you can have a good time and give people something to like hold on to, then you're doing it right.
Now, since you mentioned Jordans and I'm a sneaker guy,
Me too.
what is your shoe? Like, what are we going to
A-
see at Night Vision? What
AF
shoe?
ones.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any?
AF ones.
All right. I have the red ones and the white ones. They're like the most comfortable shoes.
I have about every, if I walk my camera to my closet, you'll see a lot of Air Forces in about every, I've pink, I've sky blue, I have, it's just, it's crazy, but I love those shoes. I don't know why.
Now, this is probably the most random question you've ever been
Hmm.
asked. What size shoe do you wear?
10 and a half or 11.
I'll see because we're
Yeah.
very close to each other.
Yeah.
I was going to come raid your closet and swap out some Air Ones. Air Force Ones, but that's not my size. So coming to play Night Vision, you're going to be sharing the stage with some artists. You're going to be sharing with Leanna Crawford, Strings and Hearts,
Yes.
Josiah Queen. Jeremy Camp's going to close the night out.
Nice.
You and Leanna Crawford. You want
We
to? You guys
listen,
are going on right before each other.
her and I feel like I run into her at every show, and she's always the coolest hang. If you guys don't know this, her, I think, husband,
Yeah.
it plays for the NBA,
Right.
or played for a long time for the NBA. So she's always got the coolest stories, and she's just a lovely human. So you guys just come out for that show. It's gonna be fun. Josiah's gonna be there. Jeremy's gonna, just a fun time. Let's have a good time.
And since Leanna Crawford's husband is an NBA player, her shoe game is tight as well.
I mean, he literally brings her to the Nike factory and just pick what you want. What a flex.
Right? Leanna, you got to hook us up. All right.
Can you please? Come on. I want to be friends with her husband.
Right. I will go with Blessing. I'll be the entourage to the Nike factory.
Let's go, bro.
So for those have you ever been to Grand Junction, Colorado before?
So I've been to a lot of I've been to Fort Collins, Steamboat, Denver, obviously. Not Grand Junction, but I'm really excited. Okay, I can't wait.
So, by the way, it is going to be like 105 degrees when you perform.
But dry though, right? Like dry heat.
It's a very dry heat. Yes.
Perfect.
So that is when you talk about what Jesus has done in your life, because if you think this is bad, wait till hell. Like you can, I just gave you the segue right there. So a couple of years ago at Night Vision, Social Club Misfits played right around the same time you're playing.
Love it.
And their computers overheated because it's so hot. So,
well, listen, luckily, I think I'm bringing my whole band.
Okay.
So listen, if that happens, we'll still have the best show ever, because my dudes, like, we use tracks, obviously, but like my players are cold, so they can do anything you need anytime. That's right. So I love those guys.
So besides the heat, I wanted to warn you about the heat. For the audience in Grand Junction and the Night Vision crowd, what can they expect from your performance?
Lots of fun, lots of up tempo, a lot of the new music. I don't know, man. I am a big believer in, yes, the message and how it's delivered. And there's nothing in the Bible that says we cannot have a great time. You know what I mean? And so if you know anything about me, it's that I'm a huge proponent of just having fun. So first and foremost, tempo, band. I have a killer set of musicians, so we're gonna play. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
You coming from Nigeria, went to Connecticut, like you mentioned. You were in New York and Brooklyn. Shout out to Williamsburg.
Hey, come on! I lived in none of those cool places for a long time. I lived in what's my neighborhood? I can't remember. It's New Utrecht and 49th. Okay. So very Hasidic Jewish neighborhood.
I'm sure you fit in well there. You did not stand out at all.
Did not love me.
But you've had through that, you've played, you've done a bunch of stuff at the Kennedy Center.
Yeah.
I saw that you're playing Stagecoach
yes, sir.
right before Night Vision. So,
yes, sir.
Backstreet Boys, Jelly Roll,
all the guys.
Right.
Stagecoach, a show with Lauren and Maverick, and then Night Vision. So I'm excited.
So right now, the big thing in Christian music is the Jelly Roll Brandon Lake song, the Heartfelt Hallelujah.
Oh yeah.
So I want to give you a tip right now that I think you should try to rip off Brandon Lake and just do a song with Jelly Roll. You guys can just meet each other at Stagecoach, and watch out, Brandon Lake, the Blessing and Jelly song's coming.
You have no idea. They're like, what Jelly Roll's doing is, I think, what we need the most, in my personal opinion, because the message is supposed to be out there.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's supposed to be out there. And I think sometimes believers kind of get scared of out there. You know what I mean? They're like, not out there. And you're like, yes, out there, go. Right. Go. We are sent forth. Like, I love it. I love it so much. I'm excited for A, good music, and B, CCM, and they don't have to be different things. Do you see what I'm saying? And absolutely. So, yeah, super excited.
Well, and someone like you, who you've done a bunch of you've obviously done a bunch of Christian stuff, and then you are doing a bunch of general market stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, in Christian music, that is kind of like what everybody wants to do.
Right.
They want to have they want to have a reach in
Correct.
both fields.
Correct.
What advice would you give to somebody who wants to accomplish that?
Um, I would say I'm going to be a scripture nerd, and I'm going to say Paul says, I will be all things to all men so that some might be saved.
Right.
Right. And I think if you want to be credible, and I'm learning too. So like being credible in the mainstream market, I think part of that is letting the mainstream market know that you don't think it's gross. You don't think it's icky. You don't think they're awful. You don't think you're not just there to tell them how HE double hockey sticks bound they are. You know what I mean? Like you respect them. You see, I mean, we're all creatives because God is a creative. You know
Right.
what I mean? So even if a guy is creating and doing things you wouldn't, sanction, you still have to honor the genius of creativity.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think if any space you want to be in, if you are not honoring of that space, then the space doesn't want you. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so that's just it. Is like I love pop music. I
Mhm.
love mainstream music. I grew up on it.
Right.
I didn't grow up on a lot of CCM. So I'm a really weird Christian artist. I'm an artist who happens to really actually be a Christian.
Right.
So my music has always been more mainstream, and I at some point decided that's a feature, not a bug. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just it. You just have to actually love it, you know?
So when you play the Kennedy Center or when you do Stagecoach or even back
Mhm.
in the day when you were on The Voice,
Yeah, yeah.
um, what is the reception of like when you tell people like I'm a gospel artist or I'm a Christian? Like, is there initially a pushback? Because like
Well,
I know like in Christian hip hop,
yeah,
when people like like you'll have a Lecrae or whatever.
right,
This is before he became Lecrae, but when he
right.
was starting off,
Before Kendrick would shout him out once in a
right? Exactly.
while.
You would have like they would tell them that they're like they would tell people I'm a Christian rapper, and
Yeah,
people would automatically like disregard them. Have you
correct.
experienced that?
I haven't, because before I tell them I'm anything, I play the music.
Right.
So again, it's like labels are cute, but they're just labels. Do what you do. So I don't need to tell them anything. God is in what I do, period. So
Absolutely.
you see what I'm
By the
saying?
way, so if you get a VIP ticket for Night Vision, you can meet Blessing. Hopefully you're bringing your merchandise because I was looking
Oh,
at
of
your merchandise,
course.
and of course you are. You're an artist.
Yeah.
You gotta hawk
Not
that
only bringing
merch.
merch, bringing new merch, you guys. So
Okay,
be ready.
because the merch on your website is pretty dope. I do like
Uh-huh.
the glasses. I
Uh-huh.
do. So
They're all
bring.
coming.
All right, I'm gonna get a
Yeah.
pair of glasses at Night
Yeah.
Vision.
And the glass is safe for brighter days, which was my personal pun.
So with that song, that was hugely successful for you,
Yes, sir.
and the mainstream picked it up as well. You got mainstream play, and obviously
Mhm,
Christian just swan dived into it.
mhm.
What was
Love
that
you. Thank
song?
you.
Yeah,
Um,
keep playing it, y'all.
yeah, yeah, please don't stop.
What what was that song like? Where did that come from? Because I know that song reached a lot of people.
Yeah, that song, we wrote it mid-pandemic, me
Mhm.
and Sam Ellis. And honestly, initially, I didn't think too much of it because I was like, man, brighter days, it sounds so cheesy, it
Right.
hurts. You know what I mean? And then I said, all right, I said, if we're gonna write this song and make it credible, we have to start with a line that you almost don't know what it means. And I was like, it's gotta be weird. And so Ashes Fall from Burning Dreams is how that song opens after the first little chorus. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that was where everybody was. Like things were literally just like the world was going crazy. And so the only way you can credibly get to brighter days is if you've gone through some things.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's spiritual diabetes, you know what I mean? And that's not good. So that's how that song, I think, came about. Is, as I always do, I go, you have to tell people where you've been before you can tell them about a victory. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Victory is nothing if it has no weight behind it. You see what I'm saying?
Let's
So
go.
yeah,
Absolutely. And it
yeah.
sounds like it, because during the pandemic, there were some really bad songs that came out of that because
Oh,
people were
oh,
secluded
God. Yeah. They
and
had
you
no one testing the songs.
right. They're all on their live streams on Instagram,
Correct.
just
Oh my
doing
God.
oceans over and
God.
over again.
Oh my God, help us.
So, and then following that was Goodness, like I mentioned.
Yeah, the goodness.
You appeared on
Yes.
Tobymac. How did that come about?
I got a call I'm sure there was some managers reaching out to managers, but I got a
Right.
text from Toby and I was
Okay.
like, this is so cool. You know what I mean? Because even I, growing up in Connecticut, not really in youth group, I knew who DC Talk and Tobymac. I knew those
Right.
guys. So that was a big deal. So he's like, I've got this song. You want to check it out? I was like, bro, you're Tobymac. Of course I'm going to check it out. Like, so, and I literally went over, we cut my verse in probably 2 hours and I left. That was it.
Really?
Yeah.
And
We
that
cut my
song's
verse and my post-chorus bridge thing in literally 2 hours.
and that song's still getting played all the
Still,
time.
bro, it's crazy. It's what listen, I'm not mad.
Radio, keep playing that as well. My man's got
Also,
to get some
keep
new Air
playing.
Force Ones. All right.
Listen, rent needs paying. I live on 12 South.
Right. So you did lift me up. What else do you have coming out this year? And will we have any new music
Oh,
before Night Vision in June?
I think yes, actually a couple new songs, I'm
Okay.
sure. The new record comes out August 11th.
Okay.
Maybe August 1st.
Okay.
August. And dude, like I said, I'm so excited. The artist in me is so happy for this collection of songs. I can't wait for y'all to hear it. It's one of those things where you're like, I'm gonna stand behind this for the rest of my life because I
Right.
love them that much. You know what I mean?
Do you have a theme for it, or is label not going to allow you to talk about it yet?
Well, I don't know if we've announced the name yet, but I promise you, when you hear the name, you'll be like, yeah, that makes sense. Do you know what
Okay.
I mean?
So once I'm done here, I'm driving
Mm-hmm.
over to 12 South, and you can just
Uh-huh.
like whisper it in my
Literally.
ear.
And not only that, if you pull up, I will play you the song, the record right now. It's here.
You're just going to open your window. You're not even going to
Yeah.
invite me in. You're just going to open your window and be like, "Here, listen to it. Now go
Just
away."
just blast it off my balcony. Like, okay, bye.
So a couple more questions. I asked on the Night Vision Live Instagram. I asked people
Mhm.
to submit questions, and here's a tough one.
Let's
Are
go.
you ready for
I'm
this?
ready. I'm ready.
Sarah in Fort Collins asked, "Who is Jesus to you?"
Whoa,
That's a
I
good.
don't
I was
know.
like, out of all the
First of
questions,
all,
that was a good one.
Sarah in Fort Collins coming in hot. Like for the record, I love hard questions. Who is Jesus? I think for me, Jesus is and has always been and continues to be the most enigmatic, amazing, brilliant, humble person that and God, obviously, that I have ever known. And like what I love most about Jesus is he refuses to be boxed in. Right when my favorite quote says, uh, art is meant to comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. And Jesus, anywhere you see him, he's doing just that. He's comforting people who are displaced, uncomfortable, unwanted, and he's disturbing people who think they have it all figured out. And there's no anybody who tries to put a box around him. He goes, no, no, I'm not here for that. And I love that. You know what I mean? So I would say
Right.
Jesus to me is that target that's ever moving so that none of us can boast that we have it, you know?
Amen, dude. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, that's it.
Another question. And I don't even know how to pronounce this. I think it's Brian, but
Let's go.
his handle was all over the place. So
Yep.
Brian, get a better handle. All right.
Brian,
There.
get it together, Brian.
He asked if you were making music, if you weren't making music, what do you think you'd
Hmm.
be doing instead?
Oh my God. Guys, I am such a nerd. I'd be a lawyer.
Really?
I'd be an attorney. My uncle's a lawyer. I
Okay.
love books. I think a lot. I love philosophy. I like, I am a nerd. Yeah, I can't even tell you. I'd be a lawyer probably.
All right. So
Yeah.
those were the tough questions because
Yeah.
we got other ones that were like, "What's your favorite cereal?" And I'm like,
Yeah,
"I'm
don't do
not.
that.
I'd rather talk about Jesus than cereal."
Correct. Correct.
Now I have one more question for you, and then
Come
we
on.
can get into wrapping up, and you can tell everybody how awesome you are and why they should buy a ticket to Night Vision because you are awesome. But
Shucks.
going from, Nigeria, Connecticut to
Mm-hmm.
Nashville,
Mm-hmm.
what's the culture like? How many how
Mm.
different is it from every place you've lived? Because
Can I tell you?
because everybody wants to move to Nashville in hopes of
Right.
their singing career
Right.
dreams. Like
Right. Right. Right.
you've been everywhere.
Culture is an interesting thing. It's all different, right?
Right.
Culture is different, but humans are the same.
Right.
Isn't that interesting? Culture can look very different, right? Nigerian culture is different from, I'll give you an example. I had a friend and I said, hey, if you and your mom come to my place, you guys can both, like, I have two bedrooms. I said, one of you can take my room, the other can take my guest room. I'll take the couch.
Right.
And my friend said, why would you do that? I was like, because I would never let my guests sleep on a couch. You and your mom can have the beds. And they're like, Blessing, that's so weird. But
Right.
that's my culture,
Right.
right? So my culture values hospitality and things like that, generosity, blah, blah, blah. Some cultures think that's weird, and that's fine. There's neither culture is not necessarily right or wrong. But everywhere I've been, the common theme among all people is we want to be known and loved, taken care of and appreciated. We want to be happy and safe and all the things. So it's like humans are remarkably constant. Culture is different. If that makes any sense.
You not only are a pretty face and a talented singer, but you're pretty deep, my friend.
Hey man, I'm telling you, I these songs don't come from nothing.
So Friday night, Night Vision, Blessing going on, Blessing Offor.
Yeah. Hey, try
I
again,
said it
try
right.
again.
Offer.
There you go.
I thought I had it right. Jeez, I suck, dude.
Grace on grace.
All right, so when I see you at Night Vision, I'm gonna say it the right way.
Yeah,
all right.
Actually, say it the wrong way, and I'll know.
Right, you'll be like, oh no, that's Matt. That's that dude I did the interview with who came to my house at 2 a.m. to hear my new music.
Correct.
He didn't even bring me food at that time.
I mean, Chick-fil-A was closed, so I had to
understand. I had to take you to I had to go to the Twice Daily down the road from 12th.
Oh my God.
By the way,
good memory. It's right over there.
Right over there.
Yeah.
The White Bison, which by the way, for those who want to come to Nashville, they have really good coffee.
They really do.
White Bison. I have like the rewards program with White Bison.
Oh, you're serious?
Oh, dude, that's my place right there.
Don't they have one in Brentwood over there?
They do, and I go there, and they know me all the time. Like I'll be coming in with like a Lecrae hoodie on or a KB hoodie.
I love it.
And they like know, they're like, oh yeah, there's that guy,
And then they start the order. That's the best part.
Yeah, dude, and they got good food. They got good breakfast food. Yeah. So Friday night, Blessing Offor.
There you go.
Dude, I know your stuff. Like I feel like this is like going on a date and saying the wrong name at the date. Like I feel like I failed.
There will be no second date.
I'm getting blocked from this one. Blessingoffor.com is your website.
Yep.
Hit them up on Instagram.
Follow all the things.
Thank you so much for your time, and we can't wait to see you on Friday night at Night Vision 2025.
Anytime. Colorado, I'll be there so soon.